Hello, everyone. Welcome to Rangers Four Lads Monday Night Live. This is not a drill, ladies and gentlemen. Rangers won a game. Yes, the impossible happened. Amrit was like Prozac, Santa Claus on Prozac last night. He was that excited. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, it was a rather good weekend. Kenny, welcome, mate, as always. What a relief. And thank goodness some positivity to talk about.
More weekends like that, please. From here to the end of the season, you never know where it might take us. Actually, a reasonably comfortable afternoon, wasn't it? And quite an enjoyable one. And happy birthday to you and welcome, Amrit.
Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. Amrit, you must have been climbing the walls last night with excitement.
Stevie, I was so busy organising the title party. I didn't really do much else last night apart from that. So I was just, I've got lots to organise, balloons and all sorts. So yeah, really good weekend, really positive. Lots to discuss today, and looking forward to podding with Kenny as well for the very first time.
Well, don't get too excited. It's not that great, believe me. Kenny, 3-1 at the weekend. Yesterday, in fact, Kilmarnock. What did you make of that performance?
Can go right off, folks, Stevie. It was. I thought we started quite well. I thought we deservedly went in the lead. Poor goal to lose, obviously. Seen it all before. But I thought we actually played really quite well second half, mate, and thoroughly deserved our win. And as I say, it's been a long time coming. I think it's May since we last won a league game at Ibrox. So delighted to get that monkey off our back, so to speak. But I actually was quite impressed with us yesterday. I actually thought in place, I mean, we weren't absolutely brilliant, but we were actually quite decent yesterday, I thought, mate. And yeah, please, let's just turn the corner and move forward and get a few more of them. But in the main, happy, Stevie, genuinely happy. You can see with this big smile.
Yeah, I think we all felt like that yesterday. Amrit, your thoughts on Rangers yesterday and the overall performance?
I think lots of positives from yesterday, Stevie. We don't want to get overly positive. Well, you guys don't want to. I do. I can't wait to be positive. But in all honesty, we set up a little bit differently. We had discussed on Friday how we thought it was going to go when the team sheet came out. There was a lot of discussion before the game about how we would set up. Would it be 3-5-2, 5-3-2, 4-2-2-2? Nobody really knew. And it was great to see three at the back. I think we had a really nice shape. I think the players looked and felt comfortable in that formation. And that's surprising because it's the first time this season that we've started with that formation. Yes, under Russell Martin, we moved some things around during the course of a game when we were chasing it and throwing anything and everything at the wall to try and win it. But they looked really balanced and comfortable in possession. I think there's a lot of positives for us to unravel this evening. So I'm very happy, like every Rangers fan. It's May, I think, was the last time we got a win at Ibrox in the league. So, and since then we've had 4 different guys calling the shots: Barry, Russell Martin, Stevie Smith, albeit for one game, and now Danny Rule. So we were overdue this, and I am overjoyed.
Were you surprised, Amrit, at the move to 3 at the back? It was something we called for, I think, on the Friday night podcast, going for the 3. Maybe not the personnel as such, but what did you make of how they reacted to the shape? It was interesting. I asked Danny Rule after the match, and he said he's not somebody that concentrates on the shape or the formation. It's more about the philosophy and how they play the game, and he wants to be fluid in that he can change and try all different things. So what did you make of that move? And did you think it suited us? Do you think we'll continue with that? Have we stumbled upon something that might suit several players? I thought some players did individually play better, but what did you think overall?
I'm not surprised that he changed things, Stevie, because when he spoke originally, when he came in the door, he made the point that he's not the type of manager that is just dedicated and rigid in his approach. He's fluid. He can react before games. He can react during games. And he's happy to adjust systems to the weaknesses and strengths of our opponent. And I think you need to be fluid in your thinking to be effective. So I'm not surprised that he changed it, because he saw on Thursday night that things were not working in that shape. I'm really glad he did. I think he must have listened to you on Friday, Stevie, and said, Stevie Clifford said, change things. That's what I'm going to do. But it worked. It worked.
Can I just point out, mate, nobody at Rangers listens to me, and it's for the best. But carry on.
Stevie, look, they changed it. I think it worked. They went 3 at the back. It was a lot more solid there. Everything we did was coming down the left. That Magoma seemed like a different laddie. All the success we were having on Sunday was coming down the left-hand side. Magoma going forward, he reminded me of Hefty. He was really good going forward. And it felt as if he was a little bit freer to express himself. He didn't have the burden of being the main guy who was responsible for defending on the left side. He was protected and supported by Cornelius, and I think he felt that if things do go wrong, I've got somebody there, and he doesn't get that same support when it's a flat back four. So I think that really helped him. I think Gasman on the right, we've seen that before, moving him out to the right to try and fit other players into the system. We did it against Hearts at Ibrox. We put Mickey Moore on the left and stuck Gasman out on the right. He's not as good coming off the right for me, and he struggled in that role a wee bit. He wasn't as effective as we know he can be. But the other players, I think, in that system as well, Stevie, just as a final point, under Russell Martin, a lot of the passing was between Suter and Jigger, or Suter and whoever else it was at the back on that week. This time it felt that the onus was to get the ball into the creative players 10 yards further up the pitch and have them passing it around in that area, looking and working the gaps, rather than just passing it from side to side, hoping that a gap appears. It felt we were more proactive. And I think in the first couple of minutes, we saw a great result of that when Tav played that lovely weighted ball inside the defender into Gasman. And when I saw that, I thought, okay, these guys want to go forward. They want to be positive. They want to be progressive. And that's really what we saw. And I think that set the tone for the entire game.
Yeah, they were certainly a lot more progressive on the ball, that's for sure. A lot less needless passes. That's certainly interesting. Kenny, the setup, I think, suited Meghoma quite a bit, Jaden Meghoma, and we had quite rightly panned him for his performance on Thursday night, which was pretty grim. He wasn't great against Dundee United the week before either. He's been struggling, if truth be told. He was a lot more comfortable. Cornelius at left side suited him perfectly as well. Suited in the middle, suited him as well. And Tav, I think Tav's now at the stage where right centre back is where he maybe should be playing, if he's going to be playing at all. I don't think he has the legs to get up and down the way he did, and it suits him. I think they all protected each other quite well. And weirdly, I even thought Max Aarons, when he came on at right wing back, and even though the game was done by that point, looked a lot more comfortable. So there's a hope that we've stumbled upon something. But to be fair, Cornelius and Meghoma were pretty impressive. Meghoma providing the cross for Danny, and Cornelius scoring the first, and also being a threat throughout the game from set pieces. He nearly scored when he was off the line in the second half as well. So they were the big plus points for me. Diomande and Raskin, we asked to go back to something similar, although we called for Connor Barron. Thought Asgard was involved in a lot of good moves in the build-up, but not really getting himself in where we really want him to be in the box. Majowski, the real negative of the day. I don't think he held up the ball. I don't think he got anybody in play. Danny, when he went into 9, we've seen what he can do, and finishing-wise, I think I still go on about him being an outstanding finisher. The header was excellent. So there's lots of positives for me. We'll go on and talk about Chermiti in a minute as well, because I think he deserves that. But all in all, it was the kind of game, Kenny, where it was a good, solid victory, which we should be taking for granted, but aren't. And what I mean by that is that should be the regular level of performance. We should be able to beat Kilmarnock 3-1. No disrespect to them at all. That should just be another, job done up the road. But because of where we've been, it felt like you hope that it turns into something significant and it can be the start of the ball rolling.
I like a manager or a head coach that builds from the back, Stevie. And if you recall back to Thursday night, you and I both said that we wanted to see 3 at the back, just for a bit of stability more than anything else. I agree with Amrit there. He's definitely spot on when he says that Cornelius really did help Magoma. I think defensively it allowed Magoma to get forward, get it beyond the midfield a lot of times, to whip that ball in. You've seen it with Danilo's goal, you said. The only problem I've got with the 3 at the back at this moment in time is if you actually look at the options for wing-back, there's not huge amounts of them. So how often we'll see it, I'm not quite sure. I think that's my only concern, that you maybe won't see it every week because of the nature of what he said in terms of changing it from game to game, but also with the personnel as well. I thought the midfield did a much better balance about it as well, where I felt that the natural instinct was to get forward and look forward, get their heads up and pass it forward. I agree again with Amrit. I thought Gassama is he's a little bit wasted on the right for me, but when you take that into consideration, how well Magoma played, then you want to see Gassama. I'd perhaps like to see Gassama where he put Mikey Moore in the second half. I think he could do a job in there. I actually think as a 10, driving forward like that, he could be quite effective as well. I think we've got options, Stevie, and yeah, I'm flip-flopping from week to week with Rangers team. I'm a bit like Rangers. You don't know what you're going to get at the moment, because on Thursday night I was absolutely convinced this squad is not going to be good enough. And then you stop and you think about it and you say, maybe with 3 or 4 additions in January, there is a genuine abundance of talent within some of these young players that we really need to try and nurture and get the best of and bring that talent out of them. I think it's been very difficult under Russell Martin because they've been that solidified in a structure that they didn't really understand, that they couldn't really express themselves particularly well. So on that basis, for me, Sunday yesterday was a breath of fresh air for me in terms of watching this new squad of players turn up and actually go and attack a football team, because we haven't seen it very often. Where how many times have we watched this season when you've got an opportunity to play a pass, but because of what they've been told by Russell Martin, perhaps, that if the actual space isn't there to go, play it backwards, play it to the side, and it was just happening over and over again, when sometimes you've just got to take risks. And I thought that's exactly what I seen yesterday, was more players much more prepared to take the risks and actually just drive forward. And if we lose it, go and win it back. And I thought we were really good at that yesterday as well, hunting in a pack and trying to win it back. So the improvement was there for all to see, I thought, yesterday, Stevie.
He's only had them a couple of times on the grass, Amrit, and I think it was quite clear. A couple of things happened in the first half yesterday that I hadn't seen. The pass in between the fullback and the centre-back for the wing-backs to run onto, who was Gassama on the right, and it was Magoma on the left. That happened a couple of times. They also overloaded. If you watched it, and this actually led to the third goal quite a bit, they overplayed and overloaded the left-hand side. And Asgard goes over to make it an auxiliary 3v2 every single time. If you actually watch the third goal, we pen them in on that side and we constantly try and get in without really doing it. We're rotating the ball, we're moving it about, and it actually leads to their right back panicking. He whips the ball away, but he actually just clears it straight across the face. Chermiti then gets it and he scores. And it was almost like a repetition of partner play. It was like, we are going to go down this side and we're going to keep going and we're going to keep playing, we're going to keep knocking the ball about, we're keep going to try and probe. And that's what they done, and eventually it brought them success. There was a lot more direction, there was a lot more intent on what they were doing for the ball. And I think that when you watch the third goal again, this goes on for 90 seconds before the boy actually panics, and when he clears it, we know what happens next. But that kind of repetition from Rangers, that kind of almost at best a game plan, and an actual, this is what we're going to do, was, although it wasn't wonderful. It wasn't breathtaking, Champions League winning football. It was nice to see we actually had an idea of what we were doing.
Yeah, I think so, and that's what's been missing with the Rangers team under Russell Martin. It didn't feel that the players misunderstood their instructions. They knew what the assignment was with the ball. When they didn't have the ball, it felt as if they knew what they were doing. And they were going, and I think a lot of it has resulted from just that work ethic, Stevie, of saying, right, that's my ball, I'm going to get it. And then forcing your opposition into making mistakes, which is what led to the third goal. So I think that effort, that willingness to want to run, to want to push, to go and get the ball. And I think everybody that came off the bench, it did that exactly to the T. They all did it. It wasn't as if there was just a few of them. And I think when they work together in unity and in a common purpose, you get the results. And that's a victory against what should be a pretty standard victory against Kilmarnock, with all due respect to them. So it was nice to see that work ethic. I think after Thursday, Stevie, these guys had to go out and try and salvage some dignity on the park in front of 50,000 Rangers fans and say, look, enough's enough now. We've got to prove something. And it really felt as if they tried to do that. Getting the early goal absolutely helped. It got the Rangers fans on side. You know what we're like? If we're not 6-0 up in the first half hour, we're all going mental in the stands. So it was nice to get that goal, settle the fans down. I think the players felt that positive energy coming from the stands, and then they went on and continued to play in that same vein with that positivity, wanting to go and get the ball and working for each other. And when they didn't have the ball, I think the point that Kenny made was a really good one about that risk versus reward. It wasn't this just wait for something to happen. It was, well, let's try it. And if it doesn't work, it's not the end of the world. We'll go back and get the ball because it's ours. And there was a real intent to go and try and play those pressing, probing passes. And when they worked, we were getting a lot of success.
You can't stop talking when I'm sipping a wee drink of diluting juice, Amrit. You have to be aware of what's happening.
I'll keep going, Stevie. I'll keep going. I could talk all day.
I really choked there trying to get back into it. But what I was going to mention, Kenny, was, do you know what pleased me as well? See, for once, we got a setback before halftime, right? And it was a bad goal to lose. It was a mistake. So I don't want to be too critical. Jack Butland's been exceptional this season. And by the way, at 2-1, he made a game-changing moment save down low to Anderson's header, which was a world-class save. And that's what I want. See players make a mistake, have the balls at least to be accounted and come back. And it's about time the team bailed Jack out because he's been wonderful this season. However, what I was going to say was that they didn't crumble at 1-1. They came out the second half and they actually reacted. We've not had that in a long time. Whatever the message was, we've barely had a half of good play. Dundee United, we were all amazed at. And then they came out and they were flat. This one, they actually came out and they got straight on it. Danilo, I think, scores, 10 minutes into the second half. And Rangers were on it from word go. Kilmarnock didn't really do anything in that second half at the start of it because Rangers came out and bossed it and controlled it. So that pleased me that they had the balls, or they looked like they had that determination not to be put down by the setback, if you know what I mean. A 1-1, like we did see at Dundee United when they went 1-1, we went, oh, what are we going to do? And we panicked. We didn't do that. Got half-time, we actually regrouped and came out and played football. And that, for me, was a huge positive. It shouldn't be. It should be natural, but it was a huge positive for me.
No, I totally agree with you. And I do feel that they would have walked in at half-time feeling a little bit of an injustice because I thought they were by far the better side in the first half as well. And they've come out in the second half and put it back to rights, mate, because, if you look at it, the Raskin goal that's offside as well, I don't know. I'm not buying that, actually. It looks onside to me. But the point I would make is that we created a lot of chances in that second half and thoroughly deserved a win. And it's quite incredible what a little bit of positivity can do. So, as you say, whatever Danny Rule has said at half-time and his backroom staff, they've come out there and they've not been affected by it, by the loss of the goal. That's what I mean, where we have seen this way too often with a Rangers team, that they're just weak-minded at times, and that will get taken away here. I don't think you could accuse them of that on Sunday there at all, because I felt that if anything, they come out with even more hunger and more drive at the start of the second half. And as I say, I don't want to dwell on the past. And I've seen somebody say there, don't mention the ex head coach, but at the same time, are we just kind of rinsing that out of the equation at this minute in time? Are we actually seeing the effects of a positive, good head coach? Perhaps I think we probably are, that can get into these young lads' heads and actually tell them how good they are and explain the message in a really simple way and allow them to go and express themselves, as I say, because that's what it looked like to me yesterday. And was it perfect? No, not by any stretch. But was it very decent? Yeah, I think it was. I actually thought we were really pretty good yesterday. And as I say, if anything, Stevie, for me, we should have won by more, because I thought that in terms of creating chances, there wasn't dozens or anything like that, but we created way more than enough to win that game comfortably, and we did so. And I'm delighted for this. I'm delighted for everybody there, actually, but particularly for some of the young boys there, the likes of Magoma and Chermiti, who have come out at Ibrox and done pretty well yesterday when we all have had our fears.
Let's talk a wee bit about Yusuf Chermiti. Amrit came on with a real point to prove, got involved in everything. There was a bit just after he came on, down by the corner of the Copeland and the Govan. He was down hunting it, controls it well, feeds it off to somebody else. I think he actually won the ball back, controls it, feeds it off to somebody else. And the crowd got up, they got behind him, gave him a bit of a cheer, and he grew from that. A lot of really good control. He scored, obviously, the third goal. And at that point, I've got to be honest with you, I thought, take a touch and go run. And he just took a touch and he bluttered it. And it was a fair strike. It was moving, which was excellent news for us, because the goalie almost moved too far to try and get it, and it bent away from him, albeit the goalie did get a touch. But do you know what impressed me? And it was almost just the moment of the game for me, was the fourth goal that we never got for Nico Raskin. Chermiti makes a run to involve himself, chests it, and he just delicately lays it off, and it's touch perfect for Raskin to run onto it, and Raskin runs onto it, taking a heavy touch, which the boy then controls, and Mickey Moore then plays him in. Now, it's fractions. I don't understand how VAR have drawn the rules. I've seen all the stills of it, how they've drawn the lines and things. I don't understand it. I always think these things, when it takes 3.5 minutes, which it did, because me and Davey were live on air for it, to decide, I think it's far too long. I think advantage goes to the striker. But you know what? I've heard people have a wee bit of a dig at him for his celebration. Absolutely not for me. See, if we're going to slag him, or not slag him, but criticise him to the lengths that we were, and he's deserved it, by the way, because he really has been grim, he's entitled to give us it back. And do you know what else as well, Amrit? I hope he gives us it back on Wednesday and on Sunday, and for the rest of the season. I hope this boy bangs him in. I hope he makes us all look foolish, including our greatest ever goal scorer, Mr. McCoist, who said that he was worried in what he was seeing. So it wasn't just us, as we podcasters, it was everybody in the Rangers support. If he has a 20-minute cameo like that, and he can build on it and start taking that for longer spells into games of football, then he might have a positive impact on this season, because that, well done to him. Hats off. Really well done. He was cracking.
Yeah, I agree with everything you've said, Stevie. You know, he came on in the second half, and he was in the second half everything that Miovski wasn't in the first half. Miovski, we made a point earlier on, nothing was sticking. He wasn't holding up the ball, heavy touches, wasn't really linking the play, wasn't drawing fouls, wasn't bringing others into the transitions. Whereas Chermiti, the minute he came on, like you said, down by the corner flag, he was lovely first touches, laying it off, bringing others into play. There was this one moment where Aarons had put the ball in about knee height into Chermiti. He was on the edge of the box, and Chermiti took a touch, and Mickey Moore came through, and Chermiti just stepped to the side. and let Mickey hit it. And, you know, that was a real good awareness of what's going on around you at the time. Who's in a better position to affect the goal, or who's in a better position to offload it to someone else? So he just took a step away. He'd done his bit. So it showed real maturity, I thought, in his performance. And he was putting himself about. He's got that big physical presence. If he can now combine that with some good touches, drawing fouls, bringing others into play, he's powerful, he's strong, he's a big lad. If he can get in the air and heading balls, he will cause people problems. I know it's a long process and it's going to take a lot of time, but I am delighted for the young boy that he got his goal yesterday, because he did need it. I'm like you, Stevie. When he was hitting that ball, I thought, son, take a touch, go a wee bit closer and then do something. And there was so much power behind it. Should the keeper have done better? You could argue yes. But there was so much power in it that it just went through him. And I don't care how it went, and I'm just glad it did. And yes, he gave a bit of snash to the guys at the front of the Broom Lawn when he was running towards the enclosure for his celebration. But like you say, Stevie, it's give and take. Do you know what? It shows character. For me, it's a bit of fun. It's a bit of, all right, guys, I got it, have it back. That's okay. That's give and take. We can't jump up jump up and down every time somebody gives us a little bit back. This is all. There's got to be reciprocity. It's got to go both ways. So I'm just happy, Stevie, that he did well, because he really, really deserved it. And I'm not sure if he's ready to start and lead the line for 90 minutes. Time will tell. But certainly in these little spells where he's coming on, it's just really, really positive and really encouraging from the young lad. So good on him.
Yeah, thoroughly agree. Right, look, let's be honest. Nobody wants to get carried away, because we've been here before. There's been so many false dawns. That should be a routine victory for Rangers yesterday, but sadly it's not. It's only our second victory of the season in the league, and that is pretty grim. But what it does do is it brings us 5 points behind Celtic, which I think is utterly remarkable and ridiculous, given how poor we have been. That, to me, gives me a wee bit of hope, because they are not in a good place. Hearts are smashing it. Congratulations to them. Beating the wee team yesterday was a fine result, and 13 points clear. It'll take a whirlwind to catch them. So we just need to keep taking one game at a time, Kenny. But it brings us to Wednesday night, and Wednesday night is absolutely huge in terms of, not only, I'm not talking leagues or anything, I'm talking about huge for Rangers. I'm not counting past any more than what's next for us. It's all about momentum. It's all about building. It's all about adding confidence, not only to the players, but to the fans. And if you go and get a result at Easter Road, then that could really be helpful to us. Now, Hibs, just to bring up, I saw some stats. A boy on Twitter, Roscoe Bear, has posted up some stuff on Hibs. They're very much under the radar. Unbeaten at home in the league in a year. Highest XG in the league, expected goals. Same expected points as Hearts. Toughest league game of the season on Wednesday, he says. And I actually, look, I agree with him in saying that Easter Road is always difficult. Always a really good atmosphere. Rangers are going to have to be at their very best. And bizarrely, Russell Martin's probably best performance came against Hibs, and Rangers in that cup game beat them quite easily. They're going to come fire and brimstone at us on Wednesday night. But this is a wonderful opportunity for these Rangers players to grow on yesterday. You go and get a result on Wednesday, and all of a sudden the mood, the emotion, the feeling towards the players, towards everything, it starts to galvanise, it starts to move. And we all go into next Sunday thinking potentially, okay, we're in a much better place. But Wednesday, some people have said, oh, we could have done without, it being Easter Road and Hibs away. And yeah, they probably could have, right? And we could have done with another game where we might have been favourites. But if you go to Easter Road on Wednesday and get a result, and that's probably one of the toughest places you have to be, the confidence, the feeling it's going to change. We're going to start like a little snowball. We have to start somewhere. And Wednesday night, for me, as much as it's going to be tough, and I think Hibs are a good side, they've got some very good players. Bowie, Boyle, they've got solid players in there. Josh Milligan will be trying to play his heart out against us. So credit to Hibs. But you go and get a result like that, I don't look at it as being a negative. I look at this as being a wonderful opportunity for Rangers.
It's an acid test for this new squad. That's the way I would put it. It's one of those places that doesn't matter what era you're in. Easter Road's always a tough place to go, mate. It's a hard place to go and get 3 points. And you're absolutely spot on when you say they'll come at us. Of course, they'll come at us. I actually had noticed that they were points-wise underperforming, whereas Hearts are overperforming points-wise at this moment in time. I think they're a good team. I think they're a decent side. And it's one of those kind of welcome to Scottish football scenarios for this squad, actually, because if you consider the run of fixtures that this squad has had up till now, they haven't been to Easter Road, they haven't been to Pittodrie, they haven't been to Tynecastle, haven't been to Celtic Park, all these tough venues that they're going to have to face. This is a massive week for this squad of players, and I agree with you. It's about momentum. It's momentum. It's about progression. It's about trying to make sure that they're in the right place to get, and ready to go there and face that environment on Wednesday night, because it is a tough place to go. We know that, and I do feel that if they can take, the form of Sunday and perhaps the first half the weekend before against Dundee United, I think they'll be okay. I think they'll do quite well. I think Hibs will come at us. It will give us plenty of space to play in. How he sets up will be it'll be an interesting one for me, because Hibs play with that 3 at the back, don't they? So he might well match up on that. And if he does, that will be a really interesting one, because I think there'll be lots of space for both teams to play into. I'm really excited about the game on Wednesday. I've got to tell you, I think it's going to be a cracker. I think it will give us a proper idea of where we're at with this team. And I do think that I'm going to back them for this. I actually think they'll go there and get a result, whether they win or draw. I can't see them losing. And I might just be the optimist all of a sudden this week and just being different. But I do genuinely feel that on the back of that performance, I just felt that I don't know if you guys know what I mean by that. I just felt there just seemed to be a weight lifted off them yesterday, that I thought they just looked really quite comfortable. Where at times a lot of them haven't looked even comfortable on the ball and stuff like that. They're treating it like a hot potato. Thought they were all really quite comfy yesterday and eager to get the ball. And I think they'll relish that on Wednesday. And yeah, you're absolutely spot on. It is about momentum. And if we can get the 3 points, that snowball just takes that extra big roll, mate, and you just get that little bit bigger, and you keep trying to build that momentum. And if we can go over the line over the 2 games this week, that would be incredible, wouldn't it?
Some might say, Kenny, it would be a Danny roll, but that's not me. Was that as good as last week's joke?
Aye, that last week's joke was a shocker, mate. It's a dad joke.
Somebody's got to bring the comedy to this place, lads. Amrit, I'm a little bit more reserved, because I've seen and hoped for results and performances on the back of things, and you want them to get momentum. You want them to go and take another big step. We, ahead of Easter Road, all want that. So I'm a wee bit more reserved. So I need to just kind of temper my expectations a wee bit, because we have to be in a situation where Kilmarnock becomes routine for us. And I say that with all due respect to Kilmarnock or whoever it is. We have to start making those games be normal again. And they used to be normal. You would have went away from a game like that under Steven Gerrard, under Gio at times, under even Clement at times, and said, well, that was very routine. Because I remember under Phil, when Ross County came and we beat them 4-0, and we weren't that great, actually. And we steamrollered them even in front of goal, and it was all pretty comfortable. We need to make those games comfortable. And I relish Easter Road to see what this team have got, because at home, Kilmarnock, it's not been easy this year at home, but it should be relatively a game you expect us to win. Going to Easter Road, not the acid test as such, but it's a step up. They're going to need to fight. Did we look comfortable because Kilmarnock weren't that good, or did we look comfortable because we've found solutions? I want to find out the answers to those things.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were all the same, Stevie, that because there's still some residual scar tissue as a Rangers fan from what we've seen, we are quite reserved and tentative when we do get a good result. We hope and we pray that it's the building block that will hopefully create some momentum for us to go forward and recreate that in the next game. It hasn't happened. We hoped it would happen after Pilsen. We thought it would happen after Livingston under Russell Martin. Unfortunately, it didn't. But the interesting thing at the moment, Steve, is that it feels very, very different under Danny Rowe. For me personally, this doesn't feel the same as those other games. This feels like there was a lot more to attach hope to. It feels like the players have actually bought into the system, and I think that's critical. That's the real important thing, because it feels as if they truly believe in what this manager is giving them, the instructions, the directions, and I think they have a lot of faith in his knowledge and his leadership. So, yes, Wednesday's a big test. Of course, it is not an easy place to go. It never is. But I'm with Kenny on this. I'm truly positive about going there and getting a result. I think they have the ability. The question is going to be, do they have the mental strength and fortitude? Do they have that switch that just flicks on for 90 minutes where they're concentrating and focusing? Because we have shipped a lot of goals. We've gifted a lot of goals this season to people without them having to work very hard to get them. We cannot do that at Easter Road. If we do that, we will get punished. And we can't afford to give them a goal because it's just too much, because it'll be too hard to come back from. And one of the things that did concern me about yesterday when we're talking about shipping goals is the first goal that they scored that came from, well, the only goal they scored rather, that came from the corner. Before that, there was a foul against Diamande in our half, and we didn't get it. We should have. It was an absolute foul. They cleared the ball to their winger on the left-hand side. Suter ran over like a steam train, and he cleaned the boy out, gave the foul. They took the free kick, went out for a corner. They scored from the corner. Now, for me, that mentality is wrong. Now, I get that the players were annoyed they didn't get the decision, but you don't get all the decisions. You've got to have the mental strength to compartmentalise those type of events, which happen consistently throughout games, and not allow it to emotionally drive you and cause you to make a poor decision, which results in a goal. And that's exactly what happened there with Suter. So we really need to be focused. We need to be calm. We need to concentrate on what it is that we've been told to do by the manager and perform those duties to the best of our ability. Not let emotion cloud our judgment, which I felt like that's what happened with Suter. Oh, we didn't get the free kick. Right, I'm going to take this boy out. It's just daft. This isn't, park football. This is Glasgow Rangers. So they really need to concentrate and focus if they want to get a result at Easter Road. But I truly believe if we play like we did on Sunday and we keep that work rate up, I have absolutely no doubt that we will get a result. I'm really, really confident, Stevie.
I'm going to offer a counter to this because what you're saying is probably right. And I don't mind it in the slightest, your point of view. One, it was a foul. It was actually quite a really bad challenge. He went right through the back of him. It was quite nasty what he done, and Dio shielded the ball well. Clancy's a clown, so you're never really going to get that. I didn't mind Suter wiping him out, Amrit, and here's why, because we haven't laid a glove on anyone all season. We tickle people when we go in for a tackle. So he put him up in the air, and it just put a wee marker down. And yeah, ultimately it led to what happened and the change, and I completely understand that. But as it was pointed out to me, as much as it was a foul and everything else, Rangers had a chance to clear their line from the free kick and from the corner, and they didn't. There was 2 phases of play before we did that. I don't mind once in a while players putting somebody up in the air just to say, look, if you're going to do it to our guy, we're going to do it back to me, do it back to you guys. We have not laid a glove on anyone. So yes, you're right. Shouldn't rush of blood and everything else. But personally, having watched us get pushed out the way and everything else by that on Thursday night, it was nice to actually see somebody rattle them back and just go, right, aye, I'll take the yellow, because we're a soft touch. So that's my
Stevie,
counterbalance.
no, do you know what? I'm laughing because I said exactly what you said when it happened. I stood up and said, yes, gun yourself, Soapy, that's what we've been missing. And then 3 minutes later, the ball was in the net, and I was like, why did he do that? So I get both sides of the argument, absolutely, Stevie. So, yeah.
Kenny, talking about Hibs and how they line up. Hibs went 3-4-3 yesterday, very similar to what we do. Iredale, Hanley, and O'Hara at the back. and then they had Cadden either side, Nicky and Chris, Mulligan and Barlaser with McGrath behind Bowie and Killie. Now, on the bench, they had Boyle, Campbell, Bushiri, Yuan, and Chaiwa come on. They've got a bit of strength and depth. They've kind of sneak up, and this will be a very strong test. So I wonder, with the 3-4-3 and with Rangers going 3-4-3, would you be tempted at all to change that? Would you counter, or would you go with thinking that I would change something, and it won't be popular, but I would change something, not in the formation, but in the selection? Where would you go from Saturday's selection to Wednesday? What changes would you make? That's what I'm trying to ask you. Bloody simple question. What changes, Kenny, would you make ahead of Wednesday night? I don't know why I flaffed about that, but sorry, mate. What changes would you make?
We'll let you off. Listen, for me, that is one of that is a big question. What do you do here? Because I alluded to that at the start of the show, that Hibs play pretty much exactly the way we set up on Sunday there. Now, the thing that I would do is I'd probably stick with the three at the back. I think the extra body will help us. They will get crosses into the box. That's what they'll try and do. They'll try and play it over the top. They'll do everything that they have done over the last couple of years that's caused us problems. I have no doubt in my mind that Martin Boyle will start. They'll try to use his pace. Stuff like this is really difficult to kind of judge, because I would be very inclined, as I say, to stick with three at the back, but I would be more inclined to turn around and put Tavernier as the wing back and put Giga in. I think we want the height and the pace is what we're kind of looking for at the back. Now that's just my kind of take on it. The midfield, I don't think I'd change. I'd probably keep it the same as it was, and I would be very inclined to start Chermiti for this game as well. It's the wing back situation that I think is probably the biggest key for me, because they've got bags of pace down both sides, Hibs. So we want to be able to counter that. I'm interested to see what you think on that, because I think I'd keep the shape. The personnel might be slightly different. I don't think I'd start Miovski. I don't think he's done enough to justify a start, actually, to be honest. I really don't. I don't think he's done anywhere near enough. Danilo has done more than enough to consider himself unfortunate if he doesn't get a start on Wednesday night as well. So he has got options there. And I thought, and something I haven't mentioned, I actually thought Tello Asgard was really good yesterday. I thought he played really quite well, and he would be in my team for sure. But what do you think yourself, Stevie? Because you said you were going to change something, and I don't really know what I would do at the moment, because you've caught me off guard.
I would, in answer to Brian, any word when Sterling's back? A few people have asked that. Brian is an old friend of mine, mate. I hope you're well. In answer to that question, Sterling should be back in a month. He is due back. He's on the grass now. He is recovering well, we are led to believe. So he should be anywhere towards the end of November time. So hopefully, coming back towards the League Cup final, I would hope so, where we'll play Motherwell or something, won't we? Because we're all really positive. So that is the answer to that. Kenny, what would I change? Amrit, here's where it probably, I can't wait to see all the comments. I would play Max Aarons at right wing back on Wednesday night, and I would drop Gassama from that right back position, but I would take Miovski out and I would put Danilo as my 9, and I would have Gassama and Gassama and Asgard flanking the forward, and they're able to come back in and step in to also help Danilo and Diamande and Raskin. So I would have Danilo as a 9, but I would have Gassama playing freely up beside him, and Asgard able to be on the left where he kind of floated about and overloaded. That allows Minkoma and Aarons to get forward, and it keeps us quite solid at the back of the 3 and Diamande and Raskin. So that's how I would go. And yeah, Mikey Moore, I think, in the reckoning for a start as well. Would you take Miovski out and just put Moore in there and keep the rest the same? I'm not too sure that I would want Gassama up against Cadden either, who's a bit of a flying machine. So although Gassama does track and things like that, I would want probably to see what Max Aarons can do at right wing back. I thought he looked all right yesterday, and I would be wanting to start getting him back in and getting game time. Majowski does come out for me. I don't think he's done enough. I would bet against starting Chermiti as well. I would want Chermiti to have the same influence that he did coming off the bench. So at least, though, you know what? We've got a few options, which makes it interesting.
I think that's the great thing, Stevie, isn't it? Because everyone did do so well yesterday, we have problems, and it's good problems to have because everybody contributed. The Max Aarons thing, I get it. Not for me. I would go with the same back three and the two wing backs. I'd keep them as they were. I think Asgard did play well. Technically, he's very, very gifted. The only thing with Asgard yesterday, I felt that once he had the opportunity or he'd created space for himself through his technical ability, a lot of the time he wasn't turning and going, which is what I'd love to see him do, because when he did, and he did it on occasion, he carries the ball really well. He's a big lad. He's strong. I wanted to see him do a little bit more of that, because that's what Mickey Moore did. The minute Mickey Moore got the ball yesterday, that's the best we've seen Mickey Moore, by the way, in my opinion, this season. The minute he got the ball, he was on the half turn and go. And it was great because he carries the ball with such poise and elegance. And when he's flying, he's hard to stop. So I'd like to see more of that from Asgard moving forward, because he absolutely has the ability, in my opinion. But I would drop Asgard. I'd bring Connor Barron in there, I think, just to solid things up a wee bit. Wednesday night, dark, cold, rainy, under the lights. I think we really need to make sure we're winning that midfield battle. And for me, it's Barron, it's Raskin, and Dio. Dio will go hunting. Dio will say, that's my ball, I'm going to get it. And I think those three would work well together. I think Danilo is absolutely a shoo-in for me. He's got to start. He played so well. He was coming deep to get the ball. He was spinning. He was running in the gaps. He was bringing other players into play. His header was phenomenal. I don't think that header gets enough credit, Stevie, in my opinion, because the way that ball comes over, it's actually behind him. When the ball comes in, if you look, he shifts his weight onto his left and he just guides the ball using the power of the ball and the pace that's on the ball. And he guides it. And the first thing he wants to do, his instinct is get it into the ground. And that's where it went. And it was so accurate that it went in off the post. It was a wonderful header. And it was really nice to see for the young man. So for me, Danilo absolutely starts. And I'm with you, Kenny. I'd go with Chermiti. I'd say, go on, son. Let's see what you're made of. I think the big man, little man connection could work. For Rangers, maybe Chermiti holding it up, Danilo spinning in behind, them two linking up quite well. And then I think you bring on guys like Mickey Moore as the game develops. You bring on Max Aarons if you need him, because these guys are full of confidence right now after yesterday. They played well. And I think they've absolutely all got a contribution to make. I'm not sold on Max Aarons starting it right back tomorrow. I think maybe bring him in once the team's developed a little bit more, maybe in a couple of weeks' time, where there's some games where we've built up that momentum and we have the security and assurances that we're going to go out and perform in a certain way. I think at the moment the stakes are just a bit too high. There's not enough certainty in the team. We don't really know what team we're going to get on Wednesday just yet, which Rangers team's going to turn up. So for me, it's a bit risky at this stage to play Max Aarons. I would go with Gassama. So there we go, Stevie. That's my 2 pence worth.
Well, I wouldn't play Max Aarons tomorrow anyway, but I would on Wednesday.
Oh,
so
Wednesday.
Funny.
Of everything I said, that's what you picked up on, right, Stevie? Thank you.
I'm a very busy man. I'm looking at notes and comments and everything, my man. I listen to every single bit. But no, before we kind of wrap things up and stuff like that, Kenny, bad news tonight. Celtic, obviously, with a lot of their big starters coming back for Sunday's fixture. Nick Walsh, Daniel McFarlane, Frank Connor, Stephen McLean, and Andrew Dallas are the refereeing selection. It kind of feels like the bat signal has went up, and you know, this is where, right, here we go. Bear with me for 30 seconds, folks, because this is what really pisses me off. Frank Connor last year clearly cheated in the League Cup final. Very famously said it's more out than it's in, wasn't he? And when Rangers were clearly denied a spot kick, by the way, that could have changed the whole course of the game, and we were denied that. That troubles me. And when I listened to Rangers in their meetings and things last week say that our stance is to be silent and take the data and try and work on these things at the back, I didn't agree with it then. I certainly don't agree with it now, because this is what we're dealing with. This is a nonsense from the governing body. We have to be very careful about what we say. But it's an absolute nonsense. And just when you think it can't get any worse, this is why I sometimes wish Rangers were more attacking, more forward-footing, more vocal about what they're doing. Do you think there's any way, if this situation had been reversed, that Celtic wouldn't have made a massive deal of this, and Celtic would be accepting Frank Connor as being one of the assistants on Sunday? Because I certainly know the answer to that. We all do. I've got to be honest, Kenny, it's almost like the governing bodies are just going, oh, Rangers, there you go, that's over there. And that's what it feels like. And that's why, for me, the silence and the dignified route in that, when you listen to it and then you get this, sticks in my throat, mate.
Well, you two are old enough to remember, because it's not that long ago, to be fair, that you used to have 2 weeks of constant chit-chat from Celtic about the build-up to one of these games, where you would turn around and say, you would hear, we hope the referee does this, we hope the officials are that. Been a long time since Celtic bothered their backside doing anything like that, isn't it? And it's true that you haven't heard, the usual media fanfare from them about these games for a long, long time. And there's a reason for it, because every single time we have referees and their officials, their assistants and their VAR officials, and it's pretty much coming from the same 7 or 8 people every single time, isn't it? And it's a wee bit unusual that, if you think about it, that it's effectively the same people over and over and over again that get the same jobs in these massive, massive games over and over and over again. Frank Connor, yeah, I'm going to say it. I know we've got to watch what we say. He should be nowhere near that game on Sunday, having officiated in the cup final last year and made such a rip-roaring arse of it. He should be nowhere near that. And it just shows you that they're fishing in a very, very small pond when it comes to referees in this country. And the standard of officiating in this country across the board is rotten. We know that as Rangers fans. We see it. Yesterday's is a clear example of VAR, for me, not being fit for purpose. I'll say it that way. When you've got a blue line and a red line on an offside, that you can clearly see, if you actually line it up, you can clearly see they've used the Kilmarnock player's right toe, when you can clearly see his arm is in front of that. Now, to your shot line, you can score a goal with. So that's still. Why did they not use that? If you understand, where is the shoulder then? Well, it's in front of the foot. So to me, it looks onside. And that's just one incident. We've seen this over and over and over again. We've had something like, I believe it's 9 or 10 major decisions in the last 11 games against Celtic. And our football club are neglecting to deal with this in the fashion that most other clubs, big clubs, would do. That's what I'll say, Stevie, because we should be going absolutely tonto tonight as a football club at some of those officials that have been put there again. Andrew Dallas, I believe, is on VAR, isn't he? You're having a laugh. How many times has he been on VAR in major games against when we're playing? I'll put it that way, because I'm trying to watch what I say. And there's been a major decision on VAR that they've had to turn around and say, actually, we got that one wrong. So,
I really want the club. I really, really want the club to be fighting this behind the scenes. I want them to be making a lot of noise. I want them to make our friendly journalists as such aware that the club are fighting this and aware that what we're doing, because honestly, this is where it troubles me. I would hate to think we've not seen that today and we're not demanding answers to what's going on here. You're quite like this about you. You're fresh-faced and you've got a kind of positive outlook about things, and whereas me and Kenny are all battle worn down for the last 2 years of podding, which I'll remind everybody again was Kenny's idea, and he said it would be great fun and a laugh and everything else. And I want your opinion on this, because it's very easy, to buy into the conspiracies and everything else, and I get it, and I try not to. But see, when this happens and keeps happening, and the same people keep getting these big gigs, and Nick Walsh, who I question Nick Walsh a lot. I think Nick Walsh is very clever about how he officiates Rangers. That's all I'll say about that. He's got a real way of killing momentum. He's got a real way of breaking games up. And Nick Walsh, I think, knows exactly how to referee Rangers. And that's what I'll say about Nick Walsh. Again, I'll be careful about how I word things. But we should be making a hell of a lot of noise. So I'm asking you, from somebody that is a new voice to this, what do you make of that lineup in that selection, and what would you like to see Rangers do, or are you happy with where it is?
Stevie, the reason why these officials keep getting these gigs is because we don't ever complain about it. They don't care, because they know, they're like, well, if Rangers aren't going to make any noise, we'll just keep putting them in. You can still be dignified in your response as a club. You can still be respectful and courteous and make your case while simultaneously standing up for yourself. You're not just going to roll over and accept everything that's handed down to you from the SFA. Like, we have a voice. We are an institution. We're a club. We have power. We have impact. We have influence. We should be using it. We have guys there that are paid six-figure salaries to address issues precisely like this one, and they're choosing not to. Now, that doesn't fill me with any confidence. They should be out there. I'm not saying go out there and start moaning and complaining and blaming, but make a case based on empirical evidence, which we have an abundance of, might I add. We should be presenting that in a respectful way and say, well, listen, this is where we are with the club. This is the evidence that we can see. We don't think that these guys are impartial because of X, Y, and Z, and we would like a response from you. We're giving you feedback about the decisions you made, because you are the authority for the whole of Scotland. You are here to authorise our institutions, and we are giving you feedback about the job that you're doing. Any governing body wants that, because it makes you better. So we have to address these issues. We have to come onto the front foot, and we've got to do it continually and perpetually, because if we just do it once or twice, then they're not really going to listen. And we can see that by virtue of the fact that these guys keep getting the gigs time and time and time again. I agree with Kenny. These guys shouldn't be anywhere near an old firm. They've proven it. VAR isn't subjective. It's purely empirically objective. It's proof. It's there. It's recorded. It's digital. You can see it. You know what's right and you know what's wrong. These guys still have the audacity to try and manipulate images and videos to suit their own purpose. And the entire world can see it. Now, I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all. I'm just calling it like I see it, Stevie. And that's my opinion. These guys are rotten to the core. It's corrupt, and it should not be happening.
Well, when you see the penalty decision last year, and you get commentary of saying it's more in than it's out and stuff like that, then I think that's where we're right to question it. I would really like to see Rangers Football Club actively question the selection of the referees, and why, after those high-profile mistakes and situations we were in, that we once again find ourselves in them. And that's where I question whether or not a data, dignified silence route and answering them behind the scenes is really worth working about. I think that's us, folks. You've had an hour of listening to us. I want to just bring up a couple of things, a couple of messages. One early one from John. Great show, guys. Could you give my Aunt Marion, who's a big blue nose and will be watching, a birthday shout out? She's battling some health issues too. Happy birthday, Aunt Marion. Lots of love from all us here at Four Lads a Dream. Hope you get better, and certainly send you all the best. And something else I wanted to do to a very special friend of mine. His name is Jimmy Killie. He's from back home in Fort William, father of some of my really close friends, Jimmy, Ped, Graham, and all the gang up there. Jimmy was at the game yesterday. Absolutely brilliant to see. Jimmy was one of the ones first when I went on Fort William Rangers Supporters Club when I was only a young boy. I was only 11 or 12. and Jimmy was one of the first people to keep me right, help me get what I need, tell me where to go, just help me to the stadium, all sorts of things. And I was delighted. Jimmy messaged me earlier on, young Jimmy, saying that his old man watches every episode, which made me actually very happy, because Jimmy was one of these people back home as a young boy in a supporters bus when you don't know anybody that really helped me. So Jimmy, I really appreciate that. So yes, and also wanted to say thank you, absolutely everyone, for all your birthday wishes. The fun never stops, no rest, even on our birthday. So we hope that you have all enjoyed the show. I really appreciate all the messages. Amrit, thank you, my man, for joining us once again.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you, Stevie. And I'll just say, by way of closing remarks, I don't care if they put Chris Sutton as the guy on VAR. I want this team to go out and say, put who you want as the referee, put who you want as the officials. We are going to go out and we are going to pump you like in a way that you'll never forget. That's what I want from this Rangers team, and that's what we will get on Sunday if we all get behind them.
Oh, that was an unexpected battle cry, Amrit. We should know by now, having only been on for 2 shows, I want us to pump them. Kenny, couldn't have put it any better myself.
That boy's a star in the making, isn't he? It's brilliant. Well done, Amrit. You're a natural at this. And yeah, thanks for having me on your birthday, Stevie. This was meant to be my return date, wasn't it? But I ended up coming on a wee bit early. But yeah, good wee show. I thoroughly enjoyed it, mate. And enjoy the rest of your birthday.
Thank you, mate. I appreciate, as I said, all the messages. Good. Thanks. Good. What am I talking about? Thank you to everybody that's watched and everyone that's commented. Tried to show as many as we can. It's so difficult because there are so many comments. There's thousands of you watching, so to get all them up, we hope that we've showed as many as we can. Thank you to everybody. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do so. The support is incredible, honestly. I looked earlier on, we're well above, I think, 11,600 subs, people on YouTube. So if you haven't subbed, please do. That really helps us. We're fast heading towards 12,000, which is incredible. It just keeps growing and growing and growing. Also, there is 650 members on our YouTube channel, which is incredible. And I did scratch my face there to pretend so that I knew which way to point. But see that thing up there? See, if you scan it with your phone, then that'll take you to our members page, and you can join for as little as 99p. You get extra shows and everything else on there as well. So thank you, everybody that has done that. The membership and everybody that's helping is absolutely wonderful. We are playing Blackpool Gallant Pioneer Pub on the 14th of November, Friday night. We are taking a squad full. Myself, Kenny, Andrew, Cheryl are all heading down there to do a live podcast show. And I cannot wait, honestly. We are going to be taking ourselves to Northern Ireland next year, and the invites from supporters clubs and things keep coming. We're going to try and go to as many as we can. So that is Friday on the 14th of November. So if you're in the area, please come and check us out. The Gallant Pioneer, I think we're heading fast towards a sellout of 300 odd people on the Friday night, and then there's a sportsman dinner on the Saturday, and we honestly can't wait. So couldn't do any of this without you guys. It's really been incredible. We really, really appreciate it. So thank you to you all. We can't wait to do that in the future, that's for sure. As for our sponsors, Rhino Express, Clydeview Fire Evacuation and Joinery, Athlone Industrial Solutions, CSD Air Conditioning, thank you to everybody, as well as our partners, Black Rooster and Art of Gold. Nobody won the Black Rooster competition. We keep going and going and going, but somebody did go 2-1. It's the closest we've had to a winning Black Rooster prediction, but we'll keep going and hopefully we'll get there soon. What's on the agenda this week? Wednesday night matchday vlog. I will be Easter Road with Jim and the Rhino Express team. Thursday it'll be myself, Kenny, and Chris going a day later because we are live on the Wednesday night. We couldn't go on Tuesday. Chris is away to see the band that sing that song that I really like, The Sound of Silence. Who's that, Kenny, again?
Disturbed.
Chris is away to see Disturbed on Tuesday night at the Hydro, I think it is. He's away to see them. So Thursday night we're going. Then we'll be back for a live show on Friday. Alva Matchday vlog from Hampden on Sunday. And then Sunday night live. Kenny?
I think Andrew and I are going on Wednesday night, aren't we? After the game.
Yes, post-match reaction after Easter Road will be Kenny and Andrew as well. So that plenty of shows plenty of shows, folks. So thank you for all your support. I really need to do this better. To spend 5 minutes, don't I, rabbiting on about the end instead of just saying I'll see you all later. You would hate to be on the phone with me. Honestly, I don't answer it anyway, but if you did phone me, it's a bit of a nightmare. Anyway, folks, have a good couple of days. Back on Wednesday. Well done, Rangers. More of that, please. Easter Road awaits us. Let's go and get the job done. Goodbye for now. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.
The Four Lads podcast is sponsored by Rhino Express, Clydeview Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions Limited, and CSD Air Conditioning, in partnership with Black Rooster and Art of Gold. Thank you for listening to or watching the podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show.